By any chance, if any of you would like to volunteer and explain for the rest of the audience, then it will be really great. Uh, any of you is interested, then you can raise your hand and volunteer and explain the product development lifecycle to the rest of the participants. Yes, Mudit.
Uh, Good evening. Basically, product life cycle is basically when the product is at the production at the behind below stage, when it is introduced, and then when it grows, and then it reaches a maturity, a saturation point where the product needs to be something needs to be happen, something the product needs to be get some innovation और समथिंग विच नीड्स टू बी जो कि हमें हमारे प्रोडक्ट को आगे लेके चले और नहीं तो वो डिक्लाइन स्टेज हो जाएगी देयर आर फोर स्टेजेस ऑफ अ प्रोडक्ट फर्स्ट इज अ इंट्रोडक्शन स्टेज सेकंड इज अ ग्रोथ स्टेज थर्ड इज अ मैच्योरिटी स्टेज एंड फोर्थ इज अ डिक्लाइनिंग स्टेज वेयर द प्रोडक्ट starts falling. But if a company can do something can create something new from that product, then again the cycle product life cycle will start.
Okay. So Mudit just explained about the product life cycle, but um, I am actually talking about the product development life cycle, which is a bit different. So what exactly I'll move forward to the development life cycle. So product development life cycle is different from the product life cycle. So we get multiple ideas about a product from the market research, the data of our users, the relevant stakeholders, and the business. Since we have multiple, yeah, since we have multiple product ideas, a product manager tries to understand multiple product ideas and filters the ideas by the research. And then okay. And now what the product manager does, it research and validate the ideas and list out, okay, we have 100 product ideas. Now out of 100, we will, after researching all those 100 ideas, we came to a conclusion that we will be working on these 20 ideas. Now, since we have got to know that we will be working on these 20 ideas in the upcoming months or the years, now which idea need to be worked on first, then next, second, third, fourth. So we prioritize all these features using multiple prioritization framework. We have RISE, we have the impact result and so on and so forth, multiple models. Uh, so we will be covering this specific portion today, the different types of prioritization framework, which is being used by the product managers in today's world. So once we prioritize things, we create a roadmap, then a product backlog, which has been explained earlier. And in case all those who have missed those sessions, so we'll be providing the recording. So it is just in the pipeline. Once it is finalized, we will share that with you. So it was the prerequisite in knowledge that I was supposed to share. Now let's talk about the today's session and the today's agenda. So just let me upload my presentation. Just give me a second. Okay. Just give me a thumbs up if my presentation is visible. Okay. I presented the wrong presentation, my bad. Okay. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Can somebody confirm? Okay, I can see thumbs up. So I guess we can forward. So in this today's session, we will be understand the different prioritization framework, which has been used by the product managers. I'm using this. So firstly, we have the RISE scoring. So firstly, one more thing that I wanted to share about the different frameworks. Before that, I wanted to share one story with me. So I was in a conversation with a product manager, and the very first thing that he asked to me is like, Vipin, there are multiple frameworks available in the market which is being used by the product managers. Which uh, framework do you prefer? And the only framework that I was aware of was the RISE, and my straightforward answer was I prefer RISE because I'm not aware of the rest. But don't be me like a year or like 10 months back. And in this today session, I'll be covering almost all the frameworks. Additionally, I guess after the session, you will be able to understand about all the frameworks. Secondly, which framework to be used in what case scenarios. So the very first RISE is the RISE scoring. Now, this RISE scoring framework was introduced by a company called Intercom. So this was introduced recently. It is a recent framework which has been used. So this framework is based on four parameters. Firstly, the reach, the impact, the confidence, and effort. Now I'll break down all these four parameters in the upcoming slides. Okay, so a reach is basically the number of paying customers that will be affected by a specific feature or the product that we are developing. Then impact is the overall the contribution that of a certain feature to the product, which can be reflected by the benefits of the user. And we try to measure this on a scale of 1 to 10, or as the case may be, it can be custom. So in the reach section, let's say we are developing a certain feature which will onboard 3,000 new users. Okay. Then what is the impact of the contribution? So we will be calculating this on the basis of the impact. Let's say the impact score would be 7 to 10. So on a scale of 1 to 10, we are calculating the impact, estimating the impact, that this could be the possible impact of adding such feature to the specific product. Then we do a confidence check. Okay, how much confident you are in the assumptions that we have made in the previous these two things, the reach and the impact. Let's say you have previously launched this in a pilot run, or you have data to back all the previous assumptions that you have made. Then you take a larger number. Let's say you are 90% confident that the assumptions that you have made in the previous two parameters. So it is a positive positive or the confidence. So we can also rank it as 90%, above 60% is a high, 50 is moderate, below 50 is a low. And the effort, like if you're developing this specific feature, what is the effort being put will be put by the team in the developing that feature. So we take these four parameters into consideration and then we calculate the RISE score. For example, let's say we have a feature which will onboard 3,000 new users. And let's say we are very pretty sure about it. So we will be giving it an impact of, let me check, okay, 3,000 new users. And let's say impact we are taking 10 because we are damn sure about it. And we are confident about it as well. So let's say we are 90% confident that it is going to be, it will give us the necessary results that we are estimating. And the efforts, let's say it will took us 186 developer or the developer hours in order to build this. Now we will be calculating this. So we'll get a certain value. Let's say, I guess 145, we'll get 145. Let me just use my calculator. Okay, so we get a 145.16. So we get a score of 145.16. Pardon. good with that part. So I'll just explain about how do we actually use in product management. So I was working on a product tear down project. So what exactly we do in a product tear down project? We try to analyze a company or a product, the business model, the product, the user persona, the customer journey, and then we try to identify some of the problems and recommend solutions to the same. So, for example, so this is one of the use case of we were working on a product tear down project of um, Swiggy, where we basically recommended three different features, and then we use this specific framework in order to identify what could be the possible results of the same. For example, if it is visible, so the confidence is on a lower end because it is based on our intuition that such thing will happen. And then impact is again based on the likeliness to solve the problem. So we have given it again a similar scores. And reach is the 70% increase in the value and so on and so forth, or the matrices that we had mentioned. Now, since I had mentioned, like we will be using this specific formula, reach times impact times confident divided by effort in order to find out the price score. So after using this formula, we get 280, 180, 175. Since we had identified three different features, now if we have to prioritize which feature should we go for, so firstly, we will go with this specific feature because it has the highest score, followed by this feature, followed by this feature. So this is how we try to uh, prioritize things using this RICE framework. Yep. In case any of you have any doubt, you can definitely ask me right now. Okay. I guess you don't have any doubts, so I guess we can move forward. Uh, could you please turn off your mic whatsoever is not on yet? Okay. Then the second method, which is the weighted scoring decision matrix. Now, since it is when it is used, so when we have multiple choices between the feature, projects, or the campaign. Now, if I have to give you a real example when we usually use this, so I'll come to the example, but if I have to explain this in very layman terms, so after every single session, we used to float quizzes, or in the upcoming days, we will be having case submissions as well. It is going to be a very basic level problem solving case submission where you need to use your brain and submit a case solution to the case. Now, since a quiz can be a very easy and a case submission would be comparatively difficult. So we will be allocating more marks to this case submission in comparison to this quiz because you will be using more of your brain when you are working on a case. Similarly, when we are working on uh, specific features or the multiple, let's say in this example only, we have three different features that we are thinking to develop. Now we can have multiple parameters as well. How will it impact our business? What would be the cost? How much revenue that we will be able to generate? And then how much time will it take? So there can be multiple parameters. So we will be allocating different weights to different things. Like it is very important for the business. So we'll be allocating the highest to the specific parameter. Similarly, for the cost, let's say if a company is not more concerned with the cost, then they can allocate a higher weight to that specific matrix. So let's say let's explain this with an example of the Google Calendar integration and the new onboarding flow that a company is working on or a Slack bot. Since we will be using these three parameters, like what is the business value that it will be generating, the cost associated with developing all that feature or the as the case may be, or what is the revenue that will be able to generate from that new integration. So after assigning the weights, we get a score of 15 in case of the new onboarding flow, similarly, the cost and the revenue. And after calculating all this, we came to the conclusion that we should go with this because it has the highest score. So in the previous RISE framework, we were taking only one thing into consideration, and the weight was equal to all the aspects. But in this, we have allocated some of the weight in order to get the best thing, giving more priority to the more important things and less priority to the other parameters. So there can be multiple criteria like the strategic fit, the revenue increase, the cost, the project R that it will take, and what is the risk associated. Now, after taking all these parameters, since we can calculate a weighted score, and based on the score, the one with the the highest score will be taken into consideration and will be prioritized. So it will be the highest at the highest priority, followed by this and followed by this. So this is how we use this weighted scoring decision matrix in order to prioritize things. Any doubts so far? Okay, I
Sir,
guess. Yeah. Hello.
are these cases on this topic which we are learning, like formulas based cases are there or what?
I guess today will be quiz only, but in the upcoming sessions when we will be working on the cases, so we will be giving you certain business cases.
Okay.
Hello. Hi,
Yeah.
Vipin.
Yeah.
Your screen is not visible, actually. It is not visible to me. Can you please reshare?
Is that the case? Is it visible to you guys?
Yes, it is visible.
Um, I guess
It's
maybe
visible.
you can just rejoin with the device because I'm able to,
Sure,
because
sure,
I'm
sure.
just presenting my screen. Okay. Okay. So these things is something which we take into consideration. I guess I just explained this out. Then we have the value versus effort model. So we again take two things into consideration, the value and the effort. So we try to analyze that how much value a specific feature or a product that will be adding. And secondly, how difficult it will be in order to implement that into our organization. So it is very useful when we have the limited resources in the businesses, and it definitely remove the biasness when we are taking certain decisions. And I'll explain this in the upcoming example so that you get a better understanding. Okay, so there are certain values. Now the definition of value will differ from the company to company or the ideologies or the objectives of the company. Let's say if we are working on so the value could be the revenue that they'll be able to generate. Maybe they wanted to increase the customer lifetime value. Maybe they wanted to onboard new users, and they wanted to have a better retention rate, or they want to reduce the churn rate with their feature or the product that the feature that they're developing. Now, based on the factors, we'll try to understand what value the new feature that we are developing will be helpful for the organization. And then we try to understand about the user value, whatsoever the product that we are trying to develop or the feature that we're trying to develop. How is it even adding value to the consumers present in the market? So whether it is in the high demand or whether it will improve the user efficiency or whether it will benefit a large group or a small group. So we take these things into consideration. So this is the most important thing which we take into consideration, and I can explain you with a very real example. Uh, so I'll be sharing one of the documents that I'll be sharing my entire screen instead. Okay, just let me know if my entire screen is visible. Hello, can
Yeah, it
somebody
is
confirm?
visible.
Okay, Great. So I was working on some of the feature development for a company. So we used to develop multiple things like the registration pages. So we used to take registration from the student on their platform. And basically, in simple terms, if I had to explain, so it was related to organizing corporate opportunities on a platform. Since we had multiple features to develop, so we take two things into consideration again, the value and the effort that it will take. So there is one thing which is the email that will be sent to the user upon the deadlines on with automatically with the reminder say, okay, today's the participation date, or let's say today's the submission date, make your submission. Since it will definitely add, uh, let me showcase this again. Yeah, actually, I lost the previous presentation. So it is something which will um, definitely add value, but it will require a lot of effort. So we have currently पाते इस पर later कि अभी नहीं करना बाद में करेंगे कभी पे. Similarly, we some of the features which are were very important like the all registration pages. So we have taken that and it is something which bring the quick results. Similarly, we built an email system where we can make customized email for the users. Now it is something which can be developed with the least efforts and it added a lot of value to the business. So we prioritize that over the other features. Similarly, there were certain features which some of the competitors had, but not with us. But what we actually did, we tried to not integrate that into our business. And for that reason, it is not there in this list. Similarly, if I had to explain, there were certain things like upload manual registration. So there can be scenarios that a corporate has taken registration on a Google form and they want to integrate the same into our platform using the Google form. So what we will be doing, we will be having a template which will automatically fetch all the manual registrations to our platform. Since it is a great feature, but it is something which is not being required by the business or there is very less use cases. So we have taken that into like maybe later we will be developing this again. Similarly, there can be certain scenario where we can build features which requires high effort, but it also delivers the high value. For example, this feature, the adding the managers, the adding the evaluators. For example, let's say there is an opportunity and I'm able to post that on my account and I'm able to transfer the entire ownership to a specific individual as well as I can add the evaluator. Now, this requires a lot of effort to build, but it requires a lot of efforts to build as well as it brings a lot of value. So what we try to do, we have prioritized things accordingly, like the quick wins at the top, then we have prioritized the strategic ones, then the low one, and then we have just not included the cut these things stuff. We don't need this because there is very less use cases of the business. So I hope this was clear to you all. Just let me know in case you have any follow-up questions in regards to this. Or should I explain that once again? Okay.
So can you
I'll
please explain it once again?
okay, just give me a second. Okay, just let me know if my screen is visible.
It is visible, sir.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, what we have done, we have taken two things into consideration, the value and the effort. So firstly, we have created such features which adds value and as well as it requires least effort to build. For example, the email feature, the scheduler, or the notification manager. So we have built those feature first because it requires the least effort and it add value and it is quick win. Okay. Secondly, then we worked on certain features where it requires a lot of efforts to build and it also added a lot of value to the business. So we have then prioritized these things. Then there are certain features like this one. So we have taken the not actually this one. So it was being initially we thought it is a quick win, but later we figure out it is not a quick win, and we have parked it for later. Maybe later we will be developing this. Similarly, then there are certain features like the manual registration one that I mentioned. So it requires a lot of efforts, but the real use cases is very, very rare in the business aspects. Then there are certain features which were not even required. For example, so we have not integrated that into this list. For example, if I had to give, um, so there were features regarding the scoring. So we had removed some of the scoring feature because it was not relevant in our use case. So for that reason, it is not there in the list. But we have followed that matrix only in order to identify which feature we should go forward with. I hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, okay. So in this only, we built some firstly the quick win stuff, then we look for the strategic, then the maybe later things, and we do not develop these things where we required high efforts and the value addition is very, very low. So that's all about this value and effort model where I guess I had explained everything in regards to this. In case you guys have any doubts, you can definitely ask me right now, or maybe I can move forward. Do I have any question in the chat? Slides are stuck. Okay. It is ETA here. Hello. Harshman, which slide you're referring to, by the way? Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the next model, we have the Moscow model, prioritization model. Now, this is very, very um, important when we are working on a product that is new to the market, that we are launching a new product, or when we are building an MVP, minimal viable product. So the entire stands for M stands for like the must-have feature. Without this feature, we won't be able to sustain into the market and will lead to a market failure. Then we have a should have feature where it is not compulsory to have these features, but it will definitely please and add value to the consumer. Then we have the could have feature where these features are something which can be implemented. What is the meaning of MVP? MVP, as I guess mentioned, it stands for minimal viable product. Okay. I'll be turning off the chat for the time being. I'll get back to you all your chats later. Then we have the could have features. So could have features are something which is not mandatory again, and it do not add much value, but it is something which can be added for it is interesting to have those features and it do not create much impact. These could have features. And then we have the W will not have at this point of time. So there can be certain feature which we are unable to uh, make at this point of time, or there can be scenarios like the use cases of such feature is very, very low. So we are just avoiding that. So it is this prioritization framework is best when we are working on a product launch, market launch product, or the MVP. Okay, that's it for the Moscow prioritization model. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to discuss up here is um, we should spend 20%. Okay, it is just rule of thumb. It is not rocket science, it is just rule of thumb. That 20% time should be devoted to the could have features. 60% of the time or the resources should be allocated to the must have feature. And then WS will not be, but it is just the rule of thumb that 60% of the resources or the time should be allocated to the must have feature. Okay. Moving on to this, the story mapping method. So I had like shared a PRT document yesterday. How many of you had even read that document? Can any of you raise your hand or maybe give me a thumbs up if you have read that document? Okay. Can somebody just let me know what? So was a section of user story, if you remember. So I'm referring to that only. So we take two things into consideration when we are using this specific method in order to identify the feature that we're developing. So on horizontal axis, we have the chronological order, uh, like the set of steps which has been followed by a user to interact with that specific product. And in the vertical axis, we critically and the necessary things which is associated with the product. I can explain this in the next slide. So I am not sure to what extent it is visible. So there are certain activities which has been undertaken by a company. So the steps would be like logging into the platform or moving forward with the other steps. And there are multiple details which is associated with the further things which is regarding the details about the product. Now I wanted to explain more about it with a real example in this case. Like how do we actually use the story mapping method in order to prioritize things and the feature development. So I'll be sharing that doc again for your reference. I guess this is the slide again. So there is a section of user story. I have already shared this in the group. So there are multiple stories. So we have story 1, story 2, and story 3. Now different user have different problems with the product. Now in this case, this individual needs a noise cancellation. William needs a earbud which falls off from his ears. Then Gina, she is looking for a product such that she is able to uh, cut off the noise with the noise cancellation. At the same time, with one click, she is able to disable that. So if you go through this, then you will try to find out that three different user stories have three different pain points. Now, now you tell me based on these three user story, which user problem you can find more convincing or the more important problem. The third one, where the user is looking for a noise cancellation feature. The second one was looking for a product where the product is more durable and it will not fall off from the ears. And then the third, where she is looking for a feature where she can switch between the different modes. What do you think? Which one is more important? You can turn on your mic and just let me know, or maybe you can type in the chat box. User story 2. Why not user story 3? Noise cancellation, like the one of the basic feature that people prefer. Which problem is a greater problem to solve? Okay, I guess I can switch to my present to this presentation because I guess the point is clear. I'm going to hold first to because all sections. Okay, maybe third. Okay, so mostly people are preferring the user story too. So basically, what we do, we have just analyzed the how the different way through which the user interacts with the product, and we created user story. So based on the story that we had made, as most of you have said, the user story is the problem uh, of the user too is more important than the other. So it is just the fact we will prioritize things accordingly. We will be we will be prioritizing the problem of user two first. Then we will work on the followed by what should be the second one. If you're saying uh, story user two problem is the most important, then what is the second most important? Must have third. Okay. Can you share again the three of them, please? I mean, I'll just brief you up about the three. The user story three need noise cancellation. User story two need a better grip, and user story one was the user was looking for a mode where she can switch between two modes. Where let's say she's in a cafe and she want to attend meetings, so she can totally focus on her meeting, and then if case any a waiter comes by, so she can just switch her mode to the normal mode and then talk to the waiter. So this was her requirement. Okay, so as you guys said, that user two problem is most important, followed by user three and user one. So we will make our product such that we'll be making product work on the product feature for the user story two, then user three, then user one. So it is just the fact we are trying to understand our user, what are the problems that they are facing, and then we prioritize our product, and then we make our product accordingly. Okay, so I guess it was clear. It was pretty much clear, and you guys did a really great job in identifying the problem of the users. Okay, next we have the priority poker method. Now, it is a collaborative method. So it is not the case that only one to two individuals is associated. But in this, a group of people is associated in order to make decisions regarding the prioritization of the task or the feature or the product we are developing. It is again a time efficient matter because let's say you are working on a product as a product manager and you list out some of the things like इसको ऐसे develop करना है, इसको ऐसे develop करना है. Then after a meeting with a developer, you find out, अरे भाई ये तो it is very complex. We won't be able to develop it the way that you have instructed. So there are possibilities that it will not be developed as per the requirement because of these different things. And there can be problem with the alignment. But with this specific method, we will be able to guarantee alignment and we will have the expertise from the cross-functional teams as we can. It is just a game where we are trying to get the information from the multiple individuals across different departments or the verticals. And then we came to a conclusion whether we should work on that feature as the case may be. And then we basically we prioritize the feature, the project portfolio, and then we work on the sprint as I guess I had explained earlier as well, what exactly a sprint is. So I just wanted to give more. So there can be two ways, the synchronous or the real time, where in this case, everyone give their scores anonymously and the identity is not being disclosed and it was being developed by this individual, Noriaki Khan, in 1984. Well, it is उतना फर्क नहीं पड़ता when it was developed. Okay, so my bad, I jumped onto the other model. So it can be to be developed, be used in be two ways, the real time and the synchronous. So I'll be doing an activity with you all to just test this out, how this method exactly works. So I'll be sharing a link with you in the chat box. So I want all your attention and time and participation for sure. I have just shared a link. So what I have done is taken the control by. Okay, is my screen visible to all? Can somebody turn on mic and confirm? Because
Yes, yes, it is visible.
okay,
Hmm.
okay. So let everyone join. So I'll be waiting for like 20 seconds to let everyone join in this game. How many people are there? Fine. Okay. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, so I guess we can get started. So you can see a score on your bottom. So you need to score on a scale mentioned below. And then on the right hand side, I have given, let's say there's a company that is into the um, edtech, and specifically for the university students. And the first feature, so there are multiple ideas. Firstly, they are looking forward to develop a doubt solver bot. So you need to score that, everyone need to score this feature according to your point of view, whether it should be developed or not. I mean, what is your score? To what extent it will be adding value to the consumer? So I'll be waiting for 20 seconds and you all have to give your scores at the bottom by selecting on the bottom. I'm waiting for all. Now we have the doubt solver. Multiple people joined for that reason. It's being put. So there are multiple features available. You need to just vote. Okay. Firstly, first of all, let's vote for the doubt solver part. Okay, we got the score from everyone. Now we will vote for the score post tracker, we got the votes from except one individual, and I'm unable to see her his slash her name. Okay, anyways, for this we have two people not voted. Okay, now study group chat. Uh, Everyone voted. For the internship alert, I again one person has not voted. These are the largest. Okay. Internships alert are there 2 times. Award. Delete this one. इसका ज्यादा स्कोर आना चाहिए. किसी ने वोट नहीं करा क्या? Since I guess I need to remove this guy because अच्छा I guess इसने किसी में वोट नहीं करा है. Now I'll since I'm the host, I'll take a number 34 and reveal cards. So I got the card number and here we got the average of 49.4. So for the feature, I do not remember the feature that I had selected. So I got a score of 49.4. Let's go to this one. Could you please vote once again? The doubt solver bot. Everyone. Himanshi Sharma, Parul, Tetat, could you please score? Tetat, Parul, Ashmi, Jaykumar. Where are your timer? Your time issue हो रहा है. Okay, now let's reveal the card मेरे पास नहीं है. Okay, so we got 57.6. Now let's vote for the course tracker. Astha voted, Aditi voted. मानव, कीर्ति और कोई वोट कर रहे क्या? Voted, Kirti Mishra, British vote. Anyways, short on time, sorry. Now let's reveal the cards. Okay, so I again got the score of 54.2, and in the previous, I guess I got 55 or something. And in this study group, I got, let's need to do that again. And I'll be waiting for 15 seconds and I want you all to vote. I mean score. Okay, I'll be revealing the cards. Now we got 45.4 for this group chat feature. Now let's vote for the internship alert feature. Himanshi and Dev the San, pardon my language. Okay, I'll be revealing once again. Now everything, okay, I forgot to, okay, we got 68 for this specific feature. So if we try to calculate the stock, the score of all the different featured or the issues that we had just discussed. So the score for the first feature was 55, for the second it was 54, and for the third feature it was 68. Since it was all done anonymously because I'm able to see this because I'm revealing in front of everyone. So what exactly happens? We try to understand about the requirement of building such feature from every single individual from the organization, or as a case, maybe the important individuals who are associated. So yes, it is 68, it is 70, so it is fluctuating in between. And once we get a score, so we try to prioritize thing which has the highest score. Okay, let's move forward to the last model of the day, which is the nano model. Okay. Can you guys confirm whether my screen is visible or not?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this is the last model of the day, which is the nano model. So we it is usually useful when we have to prioritize. Okay, just give me a second. We need to if there is existing product and we need to prioritize feature or next release. So if I had to explain exactly how it works, so it is based on the customer satisfaction levels, how much the consumer is satisfied with our product, and then the other is the functionality, to what extent how good our functionality has been implemented. So a customer satisfaction could be they are very delighted, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, and so on. And the functionality, to what extent that feature is being implemented. So it is a basic level feature. It has been implemented at its best. So this is the functionality. So this is the functionality axis, and this is the customer satisfaction. Now we have four things, actually five, but let's say the four things, which is the basic feature. The basic feature are something which is very important to have, must have feature. Without that, a product would not sustain. So this is the must have thing. So we need to spend on this until unless the functionality is on the positive side. Once the functionality is on the positive side, we can definitely spend less on this specific part. Let's say if we are if I had to explain with an example, would be the WhatsApp. Now the WhatsApp primary feature is to send messages. So a user should be able to use that to the best. So this is the must-have thing. Then the second thing, which is the performance feature. So performance feature is something which is like a feature which is with you, but as long as you get more of it, you are satisfied more. For example, the internet connectivity. If you have an internet connection, you're satisfied with it. But in case you get a better internet connection, then you will be more satisfied. So it is just a performance. So it is called as the performance feature. Then we have the attractive feature. Now, attractive feature is something which excites the user. So it is something which delights the user a lot. For example, if I had to explain, the very first time when we started using UPI to make online transaction, or using ChatGPT to write a song or anything, which delighted the user. अरे ये क्या देख लिया, ये तो कुछ नया है. So it is that which has a higher satisfaction, which provides a very higher satisfaction to the consumer. When we have a indifferent bucket, so it is something जिसके होने या ना होने से user को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So such feature के ऊपर we should spend less time and effort. And then the last is such feature which irritates the user. So those features should be removed and should not be in the application or the product. So in this entire model, we try to prioritize all the feature on the customer satisfaction and to what extent the functions has been there in our product. So that's it for the session. And I guess I have covered all the prioritization frameworks which is being used.